it started. Welcome back to another podcast. We are here with Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area, Kelly Moreno and Rachel Sotelo. Welcome, guys. Thank you. Excited for y'all to be here. Yes, coming off of David Smith of last week, the CTE director for Luling ISD. I'm excited for them to be on the podcast and just allow everybody to know what they do, because they do a lot. And I don't think, even though they're in the area, they're here helping, I want everybody to know what they do and the resources that are available and how they help our workforce in the area. So, but before we jump into all of that, I would like to get some introductions underway. So, Kelly.
Yeah, so my name is Kelly Moreno. I'm the Chief Solutions Officer for Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area, and I had the great privilege of overseeing our marketing team and our K-12 team, and great group of people I get to work with every day. In Rural Capital Area, we support the 9 counties surrounding Travis, where we support employers in finding resources and employees for their job openings, upskilling their current workforce, and also I'm going to let Rachel turn it into talking about the K-12 system because that's her specialty.
Hi, I'm Rachel Sotelo. I'm 1/3 of the K-12 career coaches for rural cap area. We get the honor of working with students and teachers in all of the 9 counties. We get to go in and speak to students, speak to teachers about whatever teachers want to talk about. If they want to do some resume writing, some interview skills, soft skills, that's just part of what we do. We also host regional events to be able to give students experiences.
Yeah.
That's what we're about, is giving the students an experience and letting them get out of the school building. Brick and mortar is great, but if they get out, go on a field trip, learn about what one of the unions do, that's exciting. That just gives them a different perspective. As far as what they want to do with their lives.
Which in this era, the digital era,
Yes.
I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier whenever we were discussing just the podcast and just the world that we live in. It's so important for students, like, now that we have AI, ChatGPT, all these resources that are available. One of the things, though, that I was thinking of whenever you were talking is that personal connection.
Right.
That's something that's lacking. Even though they're able to talk to their, the other students and teachers, there's something just about being able to go and work on those soft skills.
Right.
And it's important, and that's a resource that y'all provide our areas and the counties that y'all serve, in order to just help plug in students not only with future careers and businesses, but also is developing those skills that they need for the workforce.
Correct.
And two, again, like, you can go on ChatGPT and build a resume, but when it comes to being able to talk about conversational basic fundamentals, it's so important. Yeah.
And also, she does a great job with our K-12 teams, but we have this available for adults as well. They're out of the school system, where we can do these same type of resources for the adults. So it's all no cost, and most of it can be done virtually, or you can come into our office in Lockhart off of 183.
Oh, that's right, because y'all are right next to is it the UPS store?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, right there. Little Caesars and
Yes.
yeah. All right,
Garcia's.
Yes,
Garcia's, yes.
Okay, yeah, I remember that y'all's office is there. Well, one of the things, really quickly, I'm gonna stop for a minute, and I did want to have a couple of announcements of different events that are going to be going on, and I have them right here. So if I'm looking down, so today and tomorrow, the American Legion Barbecue Cook-Off. And then we have March 6th, which is the Music on Main and the Bar Ditch Hippies, which Rachel has heard them before, and they're pretty good. So
Shout out to them.
we've got the Past Queens Purse Bingo March 7th, and then Ragin' Cajun, which is March 14th. And then we have, this is why I'm like, okay, let's segue into this, is March 24th. We have a career day it's the Juniors Day. And we're going to let, Kelly and Rachel talk about that a little bit as well. But we're working with Prairie Lee ISD and Luling ISD to help juniors, expose them to the businesses that are here and present, and then also soft skills.
Yes. So yes, March 24th. This will be just an opportunity for students to see things that are offered in Luling and in Prairie Lee, and then things that are not offered there but are available for them within Caldwell County. It'll be a great opportunity if you want to have your business come contact me.
Yes.
Let me put that plug in real quick. Contact me. We've got room. We're at the Civic Center, so we have room outside, inside, anything you'd like to do. This just gives the students an opportunity to get their hands on things that they may not be able to see somewhere else. We've got the hospital coming in. They're going to be doing some hands-on activities that maybe the kids haven't had the opportunity to do in school, but they'll be able to do there. We also have, we're going to have some sessions with our group doing resume writing with the students. We'd like the students to go ahead and bring in their resume and have our team look over that and help rewrite or redo anything like that with their resume. We're also pretty excited. I'm going to give another plug to the CTAT.
All the plugs.
Yes, all the plugs. All the plugs. I was in education for 29 years, so I do the plugs for them. We have our organization for career and technology educators is CTAT. It's statewide. We have a couple of conferences a year. We also have an officer board, and the president is going to be the one that's going to come talk to our students about certifications and the importance of certifications. So it's exciting that we get to bring someone who gets to travel around the state and see different kinds of CTE programs and meet different kids, to be able to come to Luling and visit with our students from Luling and from Prairie League, and to, like I said, just explain and emphasize the importance of getting these certifications while in high school and get a jump start on a career.
Yeah. That's and so kind of kind of moving into that just a little bit, is this how does Workforce Solutions Rural Cap work with the school? Like, obviously y'all are helping with Junior's Day. Y'all are the ones that are going to be putting it on for our area. But how does, like, if somebody doesn't know, how this all works together, how it melds together, how would be like the easiest way to be able to express how y'all come in and help schools in that way, upskilling, etc.?
I think you have to back up a little bit. Anybody that has a CTE program has to make, when they're putting coursework in, has to make sure that there is employability activities in their locations, the labor market information. So we come in and provide that labor market information, say, these are the growth areas in your region. So you might want to look at putting this type of coursework in, or certifications.
Yeah.
And that way they can start building their coursework. And, as Central Texas continues to grow crazy,
Yes,
and it's insane. All the different things that are coming in, opportunities that weren't typically in our communities that we grew up in. These are amazing opportunities for our students.
Yes.
So and the ISDs do such an amazing job wanting to make sure those students had those opportunities, and we can come in and help make connections, bring resources from other regions so they don't have to recreate the wheel.
Yes.
And bring all those opportunities out. I know Rachel spent a career doing this, so I'm going to leave a little bit to her to expand on.
Part of what we do also, what Kelly was talking about, some requirements that are needed. Advisory committees are a requirement if you receive Perkins funding, which is the federal funding for career and technology. So an advisory committee is made up of parents, adults, any adults in the community, business people, anyone that has a vested interest in the school system can be on this committee. So we are a part of that. We help to guide what pathways are most efficient and most needed in the area. For instance, you wouldn't do a maritime pathway here in Luling. I mean, that does not make sense. So that's, even though a kid may say, I want to do a maritime, well, that's great, but we can tell you about it, but there will not be a pathway for it. There will be a pathway that maybe will lead to something in maritime, just not maritime itself.
So, like, explain if somebody doesn't know what maritime is. What is
something in the water?
Shipping business.
Shipping business.
So, like around the coast, you're going to see a lot more of that.
Yeah. Okay. That's fun, kind of, to know how all that works together.
There's so many things that people don't realize how pathways are made.
Yes.
You don't just like, oh, I want a pathway on the such and such. Okay, well, let's go through the labor market and let's see, is it sustainable? because if it's not sustainable, you don't want to have that here.
Yeah.
You want to be able to use your money and your resources in a way that will benefit the community that you live in
Mm-hmm.
and that the students live in. Because yes, that's great. Go to college, but come back.
Yeah.
You know, we want people to come back.
Yeah.
Come back and continue the next generation of Luling Eagles, of Prairie Lea Apache, you know,
Yeah.
whatever it is, the Indians. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And so we're here to help guide them through pathways that may or may not work for them.
Yeah.
You know, and that sometimes those hard decisions, because people get passionate about,
Yes.
Mhm.
you know, what they want to do, it may not be sustainable,
Yeah.
you know.
And so and currently, like we were talking a little bit earlier about Caldwell County. What do y'all see currently
And
with
for growth
Caldwell?
industries,
Yes.
healthcare for one, as
It's big.
it's huge, and we have an aging population.
Yeah.
That's across the nine. I'm not calling out Caldwell any.
Yeah, but no, and that's
It's
here.
just-
That's here too.
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so evidently that's a definite need. As advanced manufacturing's moving in, we all hear about the data centers that are
Oh, man.
all looking up. I don't want to start that battle, but I know everyone's very passionate about the topic. Yeah, but they need a lot of construction workers to put those on the ground. And that's your skilled trades, which we do not have enough of, because
Yeah.
those individuals are retiring. So, and then, what's my third one? I blanked out.
The skilled trades.
Skilled trades, and advanced manufacturing. So I ran them all together. Yeah. So those are the three biggest, but you know, there might be something unique in this area. I know, and especially in Luling, we got oil and gas.
Yes.
And I know that fluctuates with the way the price of the barrel and all those things, but those skills are always going to be needed.
Yeah.
And in that type of area. So, and then education. Education is key, because teachers are retiring, and we need to,
Oh, yes.
and more people are moving here. So they're having more children, and we need to grow the education.
Yeah, and that's too something that I was thinking of is and we talked to Vian about this earlier before we got on the podcast is just because, I mean, we have, of course, Crossbow, we have Veriticor, we have certain businesses that are here locally, but it doesn't mean that you can't prepare your students or prepare them for what's to come in the future, because you said you want them to come back.
Right.
And so it's important to educate them now, get them the accreditations or even the certifications, and prepare them, because the thing is Luling is going to grow. And there are people, or I say people, I mean people, you know, whether they're looking to move here, but there are businesses that are looking at Luling. Luling is the next hot spot.
It is.
And it's right off I-10, it's right off 183 corridor, and you're just going to
Crossroads.
make the crossroads to everywhere.
Just saying.
Putting that plug in there. But it really is like, you know, and that's something that I see that's going to eventually start to happen as people are looking not only to move here. And we talked about this a little earlier, as people look at, like, if they're thinking about moving and they're coming with a family, they're going to look at the school and what resources are available to their students, you know, while they're just kind of looking to see where they want to go. And so whenever we're talking about, okay, we talked about the industries, what 3 top industries kind of in the area. And then also one of the things, what do you think is an underutilized workforce program that residents should know about? We talked about this a little bit earlier.
Yes, a few things. First of all is Work in Texas, which is Texas's version of Indeed is the easiest way to do that. But it's a great resource to go ahead and get your resume up on there and look for jobs in your area. Then all the services we have available both to the employer and to the job seekers. I'll start with the employers. That's our main customer. And our job is to help them find their employees, as I said earlier. So we can help you look for employees. We can help write your job descriptions. We can upskill your current staff. We have funding available through the Texas Workforce Commission that we can go after to help doing those upskilling events. We just did a skills development fund with a company out of Round Rock from the semiconductor industry, and they got $166,000 to train their employees, which is no cost to them, which is great. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. Those grants from TWC are probably underutilized the most from the employer side. And then our team can come in and help you, you know, really resource your staff. If you're a new company in the area and you need a place to have an interview or host a meeting, we have space at our facility. At no cost, you can use those to come do interviews and such like that and work out if you need to.
That's really nice.
It's a helpful spot. And then on the job seeker side, we have a ton of available resources from resume writing, your LinkedIn profile, how to do an interview. We have workshops all the time that are virtual that you can attend online as well as some in person. They're all up on our website. We have a ton of different resources on the website to help you find that location. Another special announce I want to call out is our military to civilian. A lot of programming there is Fort Hood. I think it's around 800 servicemen are exiting every month, or service people, sorry, and their spouses. So we really want to help our veterans. The Texas Veteran Commission does a great job with them, and they are housed with us in our workforce centers. And so great resource for our veterans and their families to help get them connected into the job fairs and our job resources out here and training.
The wealth of knowledge that y'all have is incredible. Like, I feel like I could just sit here and learn and soak in from y'all. Yeah, and I just I think that's one thing that I continue to learn about what y'all are as a resource, because like I'm just learning so much. And there's sometimes whenever I get emails from you and you're like, hey, look at this, or hey, there's this grant, or hey, there's this, and I'm like, what do y'all not do? And what do y'all not know?
That's kind of the thing. I say, assume we do it. And if we don't, we have a partner.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't even touched on our childcare program.
I would love to talk about that because we're considered a desert in this area. Like, of course, right across from here, we have a daycare. But I mean, Caldwell is known to be a desert. And so I would like to talk about that a little bit, because that is something that I know locally is is something that we need.
Right.
And those there's those resources as well. So.
It is. And we know childcare is a very tight market on the margins. And so we have Texas Rising Star, which is through TWC, and that manages that. And it's, I'm not a full expert on this, but we can find somebody on that, and how to get a Texas Rising Star so you'll get, it helps with your payment process as a provider, but also for the providers, what we can do is upskill your staff, provide tons of resources for you that are available at no cost to you.
Okay.
And then on the a job seeker or an employee side, depending on your salaries and other things, there could be resources available to help pay for tuition assistance.
Okay.
There is a wait list right now because you said we are in a desert. What we like to do, especially as an EDC person, I'm sitting here talking to you, when you're courting new companies to come in here, especially if it's a large project and they're going to be buying a lot of land or putting a lot of building, if they maybe could put a building for a child care center on the location, and then we can find a third party to manage that for them. But that's really the best way. And then, of course, our home cares, they certified through the state. They can also be part of the TRS system. It's not a problem, but but we do know child care is very hard to do, but it's critical to workforce. And Texas is one of the few states that has childcare in their workforce system because they see how valuable it is for the workforce. So we work hand in hand with our childcare department to make sure we can get those resources for our employees. And as an employer is interested in helping with the childcare, if they're having that trouble, contact us. We've all kinds of different ways we can help you maybe mitigate that and assist you in different ways to help your employee.
I like that. I mean, I've like, in the EDC world, you hear about those kinds of things, but then, locally, it's like how to bring that here, because you know that it's needed, and it's like it's kind of like a pathway in its way, in its own self. It's like bringing it.
And we're also working with to help raise the level of the childcare worker. So we're looking at apprenticeship opportunities and things to train those very valuable employees, and because they're taking care of our babies, and the future of our country, basically. So pretty much. So if you're a Texas Rising Star, your student or your child is getting an elevated educational experience. They're not just watching the child; they are educating the child and getting them ready for kindergarten.
I'm gonna see. Now my brain's trying to child care a little bit more with what we have currently. And what we could have in the future. This will be a conversation after this. We're gonna tap into this. Okay. All right. I've opened up a whole new side of my brain.
We do that.
Like what happens when we get together.
That's right. Amazing things happen.
Yes, especially when you guys marry. Okay, so then I have a question, because y'all both have been in this field for a good while. And this might be a loaded question. What does a healthy workforce ecosystem look like at the regional level?
You are a loaded question. For me, it's opportunities for people to reach their potential, both as an employer and as an employee, and then their families having sustainable wages so they can have that life they want to give to their families and have some free time and be able to go do things that they want to do. but know that they're secure in their job and they can to make the bills at the end of the day and maybe have a little extra.
Yeah, which is needed if you're gonna have a life beyond work. Yeah.
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 When I speak to students and, typically the senior students, I tell them about things like that. These are opportunities that are available here in the area, regionally, anything like that. Um, and I tell them at the end of the day, I want you to be able to lead a good life, have a good wage, good paying job, be able to take care of a family and be able to be happy. I'm like, I want you to be able to do things that will make you happy. You don't want to go into a job that 5 years in, you're like, I hate this. That I just have all this debt because I went to school to learn how to do this.
Right.
Well, no, go and study something that you actually want to do. Go find something that makes you happy. Go find your why.
Yes.
And
it sounds so easy sometimes.
Oh,
easier
said than done.
Yeah.
But I mean, like a lot of times you have to kind of walk and learn as you go. But I think that's something more recently, especially coming into, us creating the CT advisory committee and even just plugging in with the students here locally, it's like giving them that spark,
Right.
because I don't know. And maybe it's just the era that we live in today. It's like everything is so readily accessible right here. So it's like you get, what is it, dopamine? It's like you just continue to hit a dose of hit. And it's like, I want outside of the digital era, and I know that has its importance and its part to play. It's like, I want to give
Right.
the young generation their why.
Well, it's funny that you say that because it made me think about something when I was in CTE. And I would speak to parents, not to the kids. I was speaking to parents. And I tell them, okay, here's this whole list of pathways and courses and,
Yeah.
the everything that your students can look at and do. And I tell them they need to take advantage of this because they need to also learn what they don't want to do.
Yes.
What they don't want to do. Okay, I don't know how many times I'm going to be a nurse. I'm going to be a doctor. And the moment they got into those health science classes and they started drawing blood, they were done. I'm out. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, now you know that.
Yeah.
And now you're not going to spend time doing something that you think you want to do until you get to the blood that you're like, I don't want to do that. So that's what's awesome about CTE courses.
Exposure.
Is that exposure, and they bring in the real world to them.
I love it.
They bring that in.
Like, I wish, like, I think back, I mean, it's been a little bit, but had I known, I think I talked about this one, David, I'm like, had I known that we had that available at our high school, I probably would have done something different, but I want to get that exposure to the students. And then too, it helps, especially at a young age. Like, I mean, at least I didn't. Maybe some people do. And I think it's fascinating. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Congratulations. It's like, you've arrived and it's like, now what? I've got my diploma, now what? And then of course, like I said last podcast, it's like, okay, the 4-year college thing, I guess. But if you can go to a technical school, you can go to you have that hands-on training, you can use the CTE that you, or the, do the program of what you use and be able to plug right into a workforce that exposure early on is
so important.
It's so important.
And we're starting earlier. I'm doing a career fair in the elementary next week.
I think that's great.
So, I mean, we're exposing the kids to different things, and
especially at a young age.
Yes, and now, and one thing we were talking about, college is not the only pathway up that 4-year path. And, any job is valuable and important. We need all of us working together. And, there was a commissioner that he's retired now from TWC, but he would say, if it's any time but further education, that's still college, even though it's not a university. I'll never not college, and that's definitely a pathway. But maybe you don't take it at 18. Maybe you take it and go to work, and you maybe got a skill set in your CTE class, and you go on and expand that. And then a lot of times those companies may pay for your college, so you're not in debt, because we know what's happening with the debt. But so I think that's one of the things, there was a generation that college was your only pathway.
Yes.
We're now shifting away from it very slowly, but I think it's great because our skilled trades, our production techs, all those are mechanic, our HVAC.
Yes.
we need those people.
Need-
And, you know,
Not something, I mean, yes, like again, I go
Yeah.
back into the AI.
yeah.
I know that there are some things, like I went and did a tour at, I think it's United Alloy in Seguin. Yeah, just did a tour. I just wanted to see a little bit more of what they do, you know, and just learning even too, just how like AI is becoming a thing in the manufacturing.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
But going back to like the traded skills and like you can't like there's not like a computer, or at least as far as I know. I don't know yet, but
yeah.
they can can come in and be the hands on that we
Right.
need,
To do that.
you know.
Right.
So those skills are still so important, and they pay decent too.
They pay,
Yeah,
they
they-
pay very well.
Very well.
Yeah, I say decent. Like I'm like, well, you know, but I'm like,
But, you know, I mean, it's hard work. I mean, it's not, but you within a few years, especially if you're motivated, you can be the foreman of the site and then maybe even own your own business, and it
Right.
changes. And, you know, it's a ripple effect across the community when you do that. And
Yes.
it's, a lot of resources are out there. So I think if you don't have a 4-way path when you're graduating out of high school, reach out to your workforce board.
Yes.
Let's connect. Let's do, assessment analysis, see where your strengths are, and let's steer you to careers where you already got naturally inclined, and
yeah.
see what we can do to help you.
And two, you know, kind of tying this in a little bit to economic development is it's like they're a huge resource to me as well, because I need to know what our workforce gaps are currently and
Right.
where is our workforce leakage, so that I can see where our residents are going to work. And then what it's like, okay, I know it's the skills that are needed here that are going out, you know, to
Right.
other businesses, whether it's Austin Metro, whether it's San Marcos, whether it's San Antonio, these big metro areas. And I'm like, okay, so this is what our workforce looks like here. How then you can, what we were talking about earlier, know what to attract in terms of business, manufacturers, etc., so that you can live here, you can work here, you can eat here. It's literally builds the foundation of the community a little bit more, makes it a little bit more robust. I love it that Luling is, of course, still rural, right? Which we
Yeah.
talked about a little bit, like the urban versus rural, you know, what it looks like, you know, over here, and what you can, like what you're taking even from the urban areas and then pulling into the rural to be able to help. That kind of gets into a whole different area. But I think that it's pretty neat to be able to have them as a resource, to be able to help with that, you know, to be able to see what those leakages are, and then understand in my spot, in my position, what I need to do in order to continue to help our community thrive, live here, play here, work here, etc. And that's what I really
Succeed
want.
here.
Succeed here. And I could, man, I did not know 100%, you know, but now I'm starting to get a bigger and clearer picture
Right.
of how much everything just melts together. And we were talking about this a little earlier, is that something that is common, I would say, probably in smaller communities, and then as a community builds, is the silos. People,
Oh, yes.
these groups that kind of operate, like they have a mission, a goal, and not bad at all. But it's, you know, if in order for a community to continue to kind of like work together, you don't want silos. You want everybody to come together, whether it's stakeholders, whether it's, we were talking about the education foundations, etc. It's like bringing them in order for everybody to work together, so that it's like we have one goal, one mind, one focus, so that we can push the community where we want it to go. Because growth is going to come, but I'm always about strategic growth. Yes, strategic growth, spark and strategic growth. And so, anyways, that's something with even just economic development that's so important. It's just that workforce. It is as well.
And talking about the AI and taking over things, it's still going to need people that can fix the machines.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Someone's got to make it in.
Yeah. I mean, that's
it's not. Yeah.
That's not going anywhere.
No.
So we
And these
heard
kids, the kids need to understand that. Like, yes, AI is great. I use AI. I love ChatGPT is one of my friends.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, if you're in manufacturing, you're still going to need to know how to fix that machine.
100%.
I think that's one of the things I wanted to highlight. We had a series of employers that in the Williamson County area needed a maintenance tech on their machines. There was not one. So we created a Department of Labor registered apprenticeship for this tech. We're partnering with TSTC
Nice.
to do this training. But that was definitely a request from the employers that we heard We created the resource and the training to meet their needs. So that's one thing Workforce does is we listen to you as the employer. I need X, Y, or Z. Now, we may not be doing the exact thing you need, but if we can get a consortium of employers together and talk about it, and if you have basic skill sets, and then you might have to tweak them when they come into your site, but the basic understanding. And of course, CTE does a lot of that work too. So it all just kind of keeps flowing up through the system and, building that pipeline all the way through.
Yeah.
Talking about going along with that in our advisory committee, we've talked about even the simplest, I say simplest, getting a certification to be a forklift driver. Okay, not all forklifts are the same. Not all companies need the same. But if a student can have a certificate and come out with a basic knowledge of that, they can transfer it to anywhere.
Yeah.
So just something as small, in our eyes, as small as that.
Yeah.
Being able to give that opportunity to students and then to the companies as well, that they already, I'm hiring you and you have the certificate.
Yep.
Great. I don't have to spend all this money getting you certified when you've already got something. I can just get you on my equipment and proceed.
And it just opens their world up.
Oh, yeah.
To opportunities just by having that
Just
that
that
paper.
piece of paper.
Just that piece of paper. Because then, like you said, an employer's like, great.
The same.
Yes,
Yes.
cool. It makes my job easier, and then
You're saving me money here.
Yes, exactly. So then I think we're kind of coming down on, oh no, we still got some time. Okay. Then I have more questions. Oh, good. I'm happy that you're keeping time. Okay. So let me think about this here, about which ones do I want to ask y'all? Are there anything specifically that you see with like Luling that stands out to y'all as a community? Or things that y'all can see that we can utilize more of, maybe the resource that y'all have. Like I know right now we're really building, but maybe for you to be able to.
Well,
I'm gonna
give the example of the K-12 team.
Okay.
Whenever we go back and talk about the things that we're doing in Luling, all they say is, it's that small town feel. Like you have all the support there. I'm like, yeah. I said, whoever you need to call on, you call the mayor. She will help you.
Yeah.
Call Ari. She will help you.
Yeah.
Anybody is. I have not met anyone yet that has said, no, we're not doing that. We don't want to do that for y'all. I'm sorry. I have not had that here.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm the one that has the rural schools. They have basically the Williamson County schools, and they always say that. They always say, oh, it's that small town, the small district. We're so jealous because they just come together. I'm like, they do.
Yeah.
You put the call out and they answer.
Yes.
And so for me, I love that. I'm a small town girl anyway.
Yes.
But I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I think if you build, of course, we were just talking a little bit earlier about growth, but if you have that strong core, even as the growth comes in, then you can maintain that.
Oh yeah.
Even with that, like we talk about being strategic and smart, but even with strategic and smart growth, it's even with the new, I'll just say residents coming in or the new employers or whoever's coming in is bringing them in to keep that tight knit feel so that it doesn't feel like you're like losing touch with your community. Because I grew up in Buda. Of course, I wasn't, I didn't work in Buda, but I grew up in Buda and it was very small. It was rural at the time. Now, not so much. Not so much at all. But and that's something that was so attractive with Luling is that it's just small. It's quaint. And again, the moment that you call on somebody, they're like, what you need?
What do you need?
Yeah. And I love that part of working here too, is that, I said this on a couple podcasts ago, is like, it does feel like family. Like, even though there might be sometimes whenever conversations might get rough, that's what I mean. I've got family too, I've never not got along with anybody, and everybody's always, okay, we're all on the same mindset. What can we do?
We're towards the same goal.
Yes. Yeah. And I love that. So I love that you highlight with Luling that part.
They do. They talk about that all the time. They tell us. They're so jealous. We're so jealous.
Yeah.
It's so nice that you're getting all that. I'm like,
It's
that's
nice.
it, you know?
Well, we're grateful for y'all because y'all help, y'all help us so much, so down
And
here.
I just really appreciate your mayor and of course your county judge,
Yes.
your leadership, elected officials. They're also willing and open to discussions. And it's hard. They have to answer to a lot of different people, and we understand that. But the willingness to hear us out and be willing to go out and let's try this.
Right.
We've done some specific grants in the rural community, rural health initiatives, and another one that's I'm blank on the name right now. But Caldwell County was one of our targeted areas. We were able to get whatever we needed. Everyone's like, "What do you need?" And we're like, "We need a training facility. We need." But
Yeah.
people are jumping over backwards to help us
Right.
find those locations and so we can bring the training provider here.
Yeah.
So your students don't have to, and adult learners don't have to go out of the area. But
travel.
I love all my 9 counties. So they're all unique and they all have great things. But I do appreciate the willingness here and the openness that we have with elected officials and with you, Ari, and bringing everybody on together.
Yeah, and I think that too, a word that kind of came to mind is that, like, we'll answer the phone and try to find a facility, try to find, an open parking lot for CDR training. Like we're gonna start calling people and try to figure it out. And if we can't figure it out or we can't find it, it's like, okay, then how can we create it? Is there a way that we can create it so
Right.
that we have that capability and service to our community? But I love that it's all about reciprocation, that relationship. And two, all of us are trying to do the same thing. Like we have the same goal in mind.
Right.
And that's so important in community.
It is.
And I think sometimes I don't necessarily think it's not overlooked, but it's very important for everybody to be on the same mind and same goal and
Right.
objective. And two is understanding that different strengths come to the table to make the goal achievable. And that's what I love just about working with y'all. I mean, I can talk about it all day. It's always so nice to be able to just pick up the phone even with y'all and be like, hey, what about this idea?
Yep.
And two, like, I'm like, the sky's not the limit.
No.
Right.
Nope.
If it, I think too, in y'all's world, my world, like you have to have a very innovative and almost like entrepreneur mindset.
Yes.
It's like, okay, if we, like, you see all the red tape and it's like, okay, but how
am I going to get around that?
Yeah, we're gonna get around that, and you have to be able to be malleable,
Right.
And I love that part, and that's a strength that's needed. But that's what I love about what we do, because it's like, okay, has it been done? Is there a benchmark for this? Has it not been done? Ooh,
Yeah.
let's go somewhere with it.
Right. I love the stuff that nobody's done. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I love that part, even though sometimes it can cause a stomach ulcer.
Right. I'll leave that.
Like, do it yourself. At the same time, it's like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like, the worst that can happen is somebody's just no.
Or it failed.
Or it failed. But then you learn from it.
You learn.
Yeah.
It's okay to fall down.
Maybe that's a case study, where it's like, okay, we did this. What did we not do? Or what did we learn from it?
Right.
And where could we move from?
Right.
And move toward. And so that's what I love about it. Again, even though it's sometimes just sitting there and you're just like in front of your computer and you're like, okay, did that. Okay, what about this? Like, has this been done before? I mean, like, you've got a lot of floating ideas up in that brain where I like.
Yes, she does.
Sometimes I know the other two are always like, oh no, what is she going to say now?
Yeah.
What is she going to come up with now? I'm like, I do. Like, can I talk about my event?
Yes. Go ahead.
Do it.
So I was, just driving from Cedar Park and decided culinary students need something. They need something.
Yeah.
So I called Kelly and I said, hey, Kelly, how about if we have a culinary event? And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
Her background was in that. So she was like, sure. I said, okay, I don't know much about culinary, don't know much about cooking.
Yeah.
But let's have an event.
I love it.
So we're having one in April.
I love it.
And actually Luling's coming to it.
Bringing their team.
They're bringing a team.
Cool.
So it's going to be just interactive. The kids will have a competition, but then interactive with meeting chefs, meeting people from the hospitality world, learning about their day, learning how to make their own scent. I'm very interested in that one.
Yes.
There was a
Still
couple
looking for the
of,
sushi person.
yeah, we're looking for
Someone got sushi.
anybody knows how to
Roll sushi.
roll sushi.
You want to teach kids.
Wants to do this.
There's
Text me.
there's Eitan sushi in Seeing. They had good sushi.
The travel is always what gets them.
Yeah.
Because it's in Round
It's in Round Roads, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Surely
we'll
there's
see how
something
that goes,
there.
or maybe be able to do something south next
I would
year.
love that.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's just business partners are always ready to help.
Yeah.
The thing that holds them back is that they're not sure how to.
Mm.
How do I help? How do I get in? How do I do without stepping on anyone's toes, because the schools, how do I do that with the schools? And so that's part of what we get to do with all these events, is able to introduce students to business partners in a nice, easy event. What do you say? What's the word?
Safe environment.
Safe environment. Yeah, there's nothing there. Everybody has the same interest.
Food.
That's food. For this one, it'll be food.
Yeah.
But just things like that.
But yes.
So then it gets the business partners a little more relaxed and more apt to go into the school, which is what we would like, so they can see what the kids actually do in school and see what equipment they have or what equipment they don't have. And maybe they'd be interested in donating, anything like that. It's all such a big, so many things go on in here.
So I want to tag on to that because another initiative we have is a tri-agency, which is TWC, TEA, and the Higher Education Coordinating Board, put out an RFP for regional convener. So we received it 3 years ago. So we're on our implementation round right now as regional convener. And we have created a work-based learning toolkit for employers. So if they're interested in learning how to get engaged with a school, of course, you can work directly with us, but we also have this toolkit that will show you all kinds of ways to get involved. It gives you the resources and things. It's all free on our website. So I want to definitely plug that out there because we are looking for work-based learning opportunities for our students so they can go see what's like in the field.
Nice.
And but that's one other thing that we give that resource to as well. And we're also hosting Bridging the Gap events, which will bring employers to meet with the CTEs, groups to see
Yeah.
kind of like what Rachel was talking about, the advisory board, but a little bit broader.
Yeah.
And so they can say, oh, well, this is what you really need to be teaching. This is what actually happens in the field. Or, oh,
Right.
you need that piece of equipment or this type of things. And I think we're working with David on perhaps one.
Having one.
We're looking at dates. So something coming out in Luling soon, hopefully. But these are just things that we can help make those connections. That's what I thrive on, is connecting people to resources in each other so they can go. Yes, that gets me up.
More that we could.
Yeah.
It's all for the kids.
It's all for the
Yes.
kids.
That's how we always say. It's all for the kids.
Which is very important. And I know that, it's real good. So last thing I'll ask y'all, and it's kind of, again, a loaded question, but it's individual.
Oh no.
I'm sure it'll be very similar answers. It's like, when it comes to like, what is your why and what you do? Like what, it's like, it's funny because like I think about work whenever when I'm driving and I'm like, what can we do? What, those programs or how can I help or the businesses downtown? Like I start thinking about these things and then, I'm sending emails to our attorney and I'm like, hey, can we, do this or whatever? And then here's my little like outline. But what's y'all's why? Like whenever it comes to work and what y'all do and like, what's the why?
Mine is that everybody reaches their potential. I want to remove any barrier we can to help them. And it may not be our group. It could be somebody else. But everyone has the right to be successful in life and have that opportunity to have a great, sustainable life. And I want to be part of that if we can and give those resources to people. That's what gets me up in the morning and
Love it.
gets going.
Me, it's always, like I said, I was in education for 29 years. I saw everything from the young single parent to my kid that went to West Point and graduated. I mean, the whole gamut. I want them to succeed in whatever way it is. I don't want them to be have any barriers to success, barriers to do what makes them happy. Barriers have to be eliminated.
Yeah.
And so I like to see myself as one to remove those barriers. And so my why is I want everyone to be able to succeed. I want everybody to be fruitful in what they do.
Yeah.
And intentional in what they do. And just lead a happy life,
Yeah.
Not trying to sound all Pollyanna or anything like that. But I guess it kind of did sound like that.
I mean, it does
But-
sound like, it's like sometimes you think about those things and it sounds so cliche, but there's such a depth to it. as
Yes,
well.
it is. Like
It is your why.
like that. I can't tell you how many times I woken up at 3 a.m. and just thought, how am I going to help that kid?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
how am I going to help that kid if they have no support? How am I going to help that kid?
Mhm.
Yesterday I've been out almost 2 years from education.
Mhm.
I got a letter from a senior at Lockhart asking me to write a recommendation letter.
Awesome.
I'm like, okay, so and she tells me in there, you were there my freshman and sophomore years and you helped lay the foundation. And I'm thinking,
Yeah, that just
like,
full circle.
yeah.
And
And
too, it's like,
and I'm really one of those that doesn't like don't talk about me, don't do all that. But when you see that and I'm almost 2 years out,
yes,
it's like,
you impressed.
okay,
You made an impression.
yeah,
You made an impression. You affected.
I helped you.
Yes.
I think
That's my why.
one thing also I think people don't understand, especially if they're struggling, when you've been laid off or don't have a job or you're floundering on where you want to go, remember you're valuable and you're meant to be here and you
Yes.
have a purpose. So yeah, you're going to have to do some work. It's not going to be handed to you, but reach out to, there's all
for
kinds,
help.
there's ask for help. There's all kinds, not just us, there's other resources around but you're meant to be here. So, take advantage of the opportunity you have in front of you.
Yeah. Well, thank
Yeah.
y'all so much.
Of course. Thank you.
And I'm so grateful that y'all were able to come on and be a part. I love it.
We know we'll do anything for you. So.
Yeah.
They hear about all my rescue stuff.
We don't like animals, but
Yeah, no. But I absolutely, enjoy working with Rachel and Kelly and then y'all's team as well and the different ways that y'all help our communities, as a whole. And so, and regionally, because it does take a regional effort to get us, where we're at. And so, I'm grateful. And so, anyways, well, that'll be a wrap for today's podcast. Thank y'all again so much for being
Thank
a
you
part
for having us.
for what we're going to be doing in the future. I'll be continuing to put that out on social media and, announcements as we approach our Juniors Day, March 24th. So we're working on that. We had a really great meeting this morning, where it was one of those where Rachel was like, well, we're really ahead of schedule. This is easy. It's awesome. But so what do we have a couple of points that we need to address, but then it's just after we got that one under our belt, it's like, all right, let's do this.
We were not hitting the panic button.
No, not at all. That was great. I love it. Well, again, yeah, that'll be a wrap. And then our next podcast will be Mayor Watts and Mark McLaughlin, our city manager.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So it should be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank y'all again for tuning in. Go like, subscribe, watch all of the things on our LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Talk to you soon and see you soon. That's a wrap. And we're done.